Hello, everybody. Welcome. Oh, there we go. Welcome. Thank you for the applause. Welcome to Dumbing It Down with Dave. My name is Dave Canyon. I'm your one and only solo host for this and every podcast. Hello, Dum-Dums. Welcome to the Dumbcast. It is Sunday, October 9, 2016. It is 10:34 in the morning. I am southbound on the New York State Thruway. Just got on at the Albany exit, and I'll be getting off eventually. But I will be, for the next half hour, I will be talking to you. And I do this once or twice a week. You are listening to the fastest podcast on earth, as I am traveling in my Kia Rio. And today's mileage report is brought to you by Pipe Dream. See how I worked that in? Pipe Dream from comedypipe.com. Wherever you are in the world, if it's Wednesday at 8 o'clock in New York State, it is time for Pipe Dream on the internet. You can see it on YouTube. You can listen to the live stream on their website, comedypipe.com. But the show is called Pipe Dream, hosted by 3D. His name is 3D. His friends call him 3D. And his co-hosts Jefferson and Joe Green. So one guy talks, two guys laugh, and every week they try to have a special guest live in the studio. It is a live show, by the way. I always forget to inform you. It is live. It's Pipe Dream Live. They don't call it Pipe Dream Live. Maybe they should. They just call it Pipe Dream. Anyway, the mileage report is 217,251 miles on my 2008 Kia Rio. That's it. And I do my podcast from here. I've done occasionally the Dumbcast from my wife's Honda Fit, and I did it from my truck once or twice, but no more. Exclusively, it'll be done in the Kia Rio. I'm not sponsored by Kia, but I like to mention it. So, because I am the only one, as far as I know, if not in the United States, in the entire world, doing his Dumbcast from his Kia Rio while in motion. And this Dumbcast will be a half hour or less, no more than a half hour ever. So I think I will take a chance. I don't know how this is going to go. I'll talk about a few things today. I have a few things on my mind. We will call the show I Support Trump. I support Donald Trump, Donald J. Trump. J for jerk? I don't know. But part 3. And it's interesting. I thought for sure with all my liberal fake book friends, I've gone on and on about my fake book friends, that if I posted a title to a Dumbcast called I Support Trump, that I would get some emails. You know, at Dumbing It Down with Dave at yahoo.com, dumbing with a B, D-U-M-B, just in case you didn't know where the B went. But I still haven't gotten any emails. To this date, on episode 31, this is episode 31 because as podcasters, we keep count for some reason. I think that's going to fade out. I think eventually we're all just going to start doing shows and not number them, but whatever. I thought for sure if they saw I Support Trump, I'd be getting all these emails from my fake book friends and other friends saying, hey, you know, and I post these shows on Facebook. I thought, you know, that I would get some emails saying, I can't believe that I've known you for all these years. I can't believe you're supporting Trump. He's this, he's that, all these, you know, that argument. Because politics is a good way to alienate half your crowd. And I only have one listener, and he's sticking around for as far as I know. You know, for as long as he wants. You know, he can bail at any time. He's under no obligation to listen to the show, although he is a truck driver, and he has the same dilemma I do as being on the road for, 14 hours a night and really nothing to do. Although he has Sirius Satellite in his truck, as far as I know. I think he has Sirius Satellite. So, he has choices. I only have AM/FM in my truck, so I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot, and one day we'll go through all the podcasts that I listen to. There's a lot. There's 20 of them, more than 20, and there's a lot of information that I receive on a daily basis. Interesting stuff, and I enjoy them all. Otherwise, I wouldn't listen to them. If I didn't enjoy them, I wouldn't listen to them. That's the good thing about podcasts, is that you really have a lot of choices, and you have the freedom to start and stop and listen to it later, and it's great. Unfortunately, nobody's choosing to listen to Dumbing It Down with Dave. You can listen to it on the Spreaker app, or you could go to my website, dumbingitdownwithdave.com. There's all different ways of commenting. Anyway, I mean, as far as listening, and also, yeah, you can comment on dumbingitdownwithdave.com. I actually do have one anonymous comment, and I replied to it. I don't know if that person saw it, but they wanted to know, they were interested in my feelings after the first debate. So I did comment on that in one of the last two episodes. Either I support Trump Part 1 or I support Trump Part 2, which would be episode 29 and 30 respectively. And I didn't care for the debate. I didn't think we learned anything new. I really sat there hoping that Hillary would have a seizure. I know it's a horrible thing to say, but I thought how great it would be, how it would be great television if she just had a freak out attack and just did something wacky, whether it's a coughing fit or whether it's just some sort of reaction to some sound or something, and then she went. That's all, folks. And on live TV, I'd be curious if they would cut away or would they zoom in? Like if she fell on the floor, if she had a seizure, she had an attack, and she fell on the floor. I'm sure Secret Service agents would come to her rescue, but would they cut away to a host, or would they keep the camera on her? I mean, I personally would like to see the camera on her, as a lot of people would. A lot of people would say, no, that's insensitive, that's a health thing, we shouldn't see it. But you know what? That is news. She is in the public eye, and it does have something to do with her presidency. My guess is that really the only way that Donald Trump can win the election right now, because I don't think he's going to win. I just don't think so. There's just too many factors working against him. And he has a few factors that are working for him, and they're worthy factors. I just don't think I don't think he has enough. And apparently I've heard some shows where he's actually trailing behind what Mitt Romney was doing, 4 years ago. He doesn't have any of the black vote. He has only the non-college educated white vote, which I am a part of. And I take offense to that. The way they're describing it. It's only these college educated white guys that are voting for Trump. And they put me in a group. And I'm like, wait a minute. What are you trying to say? That just because we don't have a college degree, we can't figure out, what's best for us? We're not capable of making an educated decision because we're not college educated. We don't have a degree. We didn't go to school for 4 years and complete the minimum required amount of liberal arts programs and then attend graduation and shake hands with the chancellor or the president of the school. And then, you got to wear a robe. I mean, I understand that it's not easy to do 4 years of college and get that degree. It's not impossible, and it's not super difficult. Master's work is difficult, doctorates and all that other stuff, but 4 years of a liberal arts college. Hey, what if I went to a community college and I graduated 2 years of community college? Would I be considered a college graduate? Or would there be an asterisk, and I would be a junior college graduate, a 2-year college graduate? I'm a truck driver. I've been driving all different types of vehicles for over 30 years. All right, so I got my license to say 18, 19. All right, whatever, 18, 17, 18, something like that. And I'm going to be honest with you. I failed my road test the first 3 times. Not because I couldn't drive, because I was probably young and dumb. I was, young and cocky. Everybody thought I was going to pass right away, but I didn't. So I'm just being honest. There you go. And there's my disclosure. So let's just say since 35 years, I've been driving one vehicle or another. I drove submarines underwater. I drove ships out at sea. Ships. Obviously, they don't just give you the keys. You go, here, go start up the boat. Go take it for a ride. I mean, there's a whole crew on my ship. There was 300 sailors and 300 Marines. I mean, we had a lot of support. Anyway, I've driven stretch limousines. I've driven buses, long buses, short buses, big trucks, small trucks, straight trucks, and now I drive doubles. And I've traveled the world. Philippines, all over the United States. I've drove cross country. I've been to Scotland. I've been to a lot of places I don't even remember. How about that? I've had more jobs. I've traveled more locations than a lot of college graduates. I've seen a lot. I've done a lot. I'm going to give myself, for the purposes of the show, an honorary college degree. I own a house. I raised a child. I might not have done a good job. I'm renovating the house now, and I'm in a good amount of debt because of it, but we're doing a great job, and it's looking fantastic. It's probably the house I'm going to die in. I might not actually die in the house, but you know what I mean. I'll be living in this house when I die. My son, well, I do the best I can. Not everybody's a great parent, and sometimes you can have more than one child, and the oldest, I have two other friends who the oldest is a bit of a knucklehead, but the youngest ones are doing much better. For whatever reason, maybe because we're over protective of the first one, and when the second and the third one comes along, you're a lot more relaxed. Maybe I hovered. I might have been one of those helicopter parents. I'll admit to that for the sake of this monologue, because I would say conversation, but since none of you are talking to me, I'm going to call it a monologue. It's not a dialogue. Mono would be one. See, I know that. Anyway, so I'm going to give myself an honorary college degree. And in this episode called I Support Donald J. Trump, episode part 3, even though it has come to light some sort of audio tape of Trump making these remarks, who Melania, his wife, has even said she finds it objective, which I think it's great that she speaks up and says how she really feels. And a lot of people, like Paul Ryan, apparently disinvited him. That's like defriending. You're disinvited. You were invited for this GOP rally, whatever it was that they had. Now we're disinviting you. Even though you're the GOP nominee for president, we're going to totally screw over the party by disinviting you and having everybody know that we've done that. How ridiculous. Anyway. But this is what the Republicans do. They love to implode. They love to do stupid things to sabotage themselves. You know, I'm a Republican. I'm a registered Republican. And I'm telling you right now, the Republican Party is just filled with morons. It really is. It doesn't make me proud to be a Republican. And when I was a Democrat, I wasn't proud to be a Democrat. You know what? I'm not proud to be any of these things. I'm proud to be an American, as proud as I can be, as proud as I need to be. But as far as putting myself in a group, I really wish I could be in another group. You know, the group of pragmatists. You know, guys and gals that see the truth for what it is, and they get the big picture, and they don't do these idiotic things. But just, you know, there's just not 100% support in the Republican Party for their nominee. I've never seen this before, but this is the way it is. And you know, if Jeb Bush had any ability, he would have won. If Cruz had any ability, he would have won. If Rubio had any ability, he would have won. If Kasich had any ability, if any of these guys had any insight how to beat Trump, they would have beaten him. That's why Trump says he's a winner, because he got everybody to play his game. If you look back, and I'm not, oh, by the way, let me post this disclaimer. All right, disclaimer. I don't know anything about politics. I've said that in episode 29 and or 30. I don't know anything about politics. I'm not a strategist. I just know what I know. All right? And I really think I could have helped Mr. Trump through this entire campaign, because he's not doing certain things he should be doing, and these are the things that would put him 10 to 20 and 30 points ahead of Hillary. Basically, all he has to do is really show empathy. Lots of empathy. But he doesn't seem to get around to that. And then, of course, you people are yelling and screaming, if you are listening to this dumbcast, that he says a lot of ridiculous things. Well, yeah, that might be true, but I'm appreciating that. I like the fact that he's coming out and showing everybody his ignorance or his lack of tolerance or whatever it is he's doing, because that just shows me, and I know you're going to say that's the dumbest logic, but, well, it is dumbing it down with Dave. He's showing me his true self. He's showing us how flawed he is. Even though he's a millionaire or a billionaire or whatever he is showing you his true self. As opposed to, I feel, including Hillary and all the other Republican candidates he beat, and all the previous candidates in my adult life, and elected officials going back to Nixon, who, was impeached and had to resign, Spiro Agnew, and whatever. As far back as you can go as far as the United States, and as far back as you can go as far as New York State. And by the way, New York State, if you don't know, if you're from another part of the world and not New York State like me, New York State has one of the most corrupt governments, where every day there's another official, being accused of bribery and whatever. It's just, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. Don't think that Eliot Spitzer was the first. It goes back a long ways. It's just a lot of corruption in New York State. It's just unbelievable that anything gets done. Anyway, so he's showing his true self. So when he does get elected, if he gets elected, I'm going to be honest, if he gets elected, when he gets elected, you're not going to see a different, worse Trump. You might see a better Trump, but I can't imagine you're going to see a worse Trump. In other words, is he going to say even more ridiculous things? I guess so, but he's already lowered the bar, according to certain pundits, whatever it is, experts. And they're going to say, how much crazier can it get? How much worse can it get? Well, he's got everybody to play his game. He keeps on saying things, he keeps on doing things, and he keeps on winning. He's in the game. Last I heard, he was head-to-head with Hillary. He was ahead by a couple of points. He was behind for a while. Remember that? 10 points behind? Then he caught up. And now with this recording, even Melania, his wife, is speaking up against him. All right, let me talk about these comments. I don't have it written down. I don't know exactly what he said, but I heard it. Let me tell you something, folks. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, hear this. Now hear this. What Donald Trump said, and it doesn't excuse him, I'm just saying this. What he said has been said by millions and millions of men. And if it hasn't been said, it's been thought of. All right? Men are dogs. We like to have sex. We like to have sex. We like to have it often. If we're capable, we like to have it often. We would like to have it with many different participants. Not always at once, but we fantasize about having more than one at once. We like to have different ones over the course of a life. Many of us do before we get married. Some of us continue on after we get married. See Eliot Spitzer, former governor of New York. See a lot of people, a lot of government officials who portrayed themselves to be one way. Wasn't it Andrews? What was the name of that young, was he a Democrat? And then he got caught cheating on his wife, who was dying of cancer. She's dying of cancer. She's dying of something. Did she eventually die? I can't remember. I don't remember. What was his name? Gary? I'm thinking Andrews, but that could be wrong. It doesn't matter. He was in that 2012 election, I think. Maybe 2008. It doesn't really matter. His wife got cancer. He's dying. And he's cheating. Lopez, the comedian, George Lopez, didn't he donate his kidneys to his wife or whatever? And he was cheating. Bill Cosby. Men cheat because they love new sexual partners. They love it. As much as I've said before, like men are children, they like to say pee-pee and poo-poo, and they like to fart. Well, yeah, they like to have sex. And if they're not having sex, like myself, with anybody for that matter, not just, extra partners, that's another story. I'm a little bit old now, folks, 53. Things have gone south, so to speak. We like to look. We love to look because women are beautiful and it catches our eye. So even though we might not be able to muster up, look at me talking military, even though we might not be able to muster up an erection, although we might not be able to have sex, we look. Now, we also look at fast cars, motorcycles, maybe architecture. We like listening to music. There's certain things. Oh, what's that? We like certain foods. Men just get aroused, not always sexually, by different things. We're just dopey like that. Maybe it's not dopey. Maybe it just shows how open-minded we are. That's a good way of saying it. Men can see themselves. I'm being very honest, folks. I know a lot of men. I've met a lot of men. They can see themselves being married for 20 years. Have a sexual partner on the side. Male or female. It doesn't matter. And not think twice about it. Because that doesn't mean they love their wife any less. It does to the wife. To her, it means a lot less. But to the men, they're like, no, this woman is gorgeous, even though she might not be. But, she's here now. She's attending to my needs now. I'm going to participate in this now. And then when it's over, I go home and I act like it never happened. Men do that. They're capable of doing that. They do things at work. They like, I'm a truck driver. Men get into accidents and they don't report it. They damage equipment. They do things, whatever. It's just, men are very good at coming up with excuses and reasons. Am I throwing men under the bus? No, because how could you not know this? As a woman, you must know this, right? That men do these things. Some do it more than others. Some do it better than others. Why am I talking about this? Because Donald Trump is being recorded before he even thought about being president. I don't know how long ago this was. I'm assuming it was a long time ago. I'm assuming it wasn't during this campaign. But even if it was, this still really has nothing to do with his ability to do the job. Let's remember this. Before we get all upset about the fact that if he did say this thing recently, which I don't think he did. If I'm wrong, I apologize. I'm just doing this podcast, this Dumbcast on the way home after a long day's work. Of course, I've just did 5 days in a row of 16 hours a day. And I don't read the papers. I don't have a chance to really follow up on all this. I don't have a team of advisors, of interns or whatever, people telling me what to say and do and what to think and all this other stuff. And I don't have a crack research team. But let's remember, it was how long ago Bill Clinton was in office, and we didn't know he was thinking these thoughts because he was being a politician. Slick Willie, right? Is that what Rush Limbaugh used to call him? Slick Willie? That, he portrays himself one way, but he's really another way. Don't we all know that by now? That is the true Bill Clinton? And the Democrats love Bill Clinton. That's why they're willing to elect his wife. And that's her qualification. She's his wife. That's her qualifications for being president. But Dave, she was Secretary of State. She was Secretary of State because she was his wife. Yeah, but before that, she was, a Senator of New York. She was Senator of New York because she was his wife. Whatever reason the Democratic Party thought that it'd be a good idea for her to move to New York so she could become senator, so she could run for president, and even though she lost to the first black president ever who had maybe as little experience as she did, and that they would somehow make her, that she would become Secretary of State. I'm sure that wasn't Barack Obama's first choice, but somebody whispered in his ear, hey, listen, do this, make it right. You beat her, you're the first black president, enjoy yourself, make her Secretary of State. And then now she's running for president. I mean, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, I mean, isn't that obvious? There's some sort of strength behind her, and that strength is probably Wall Street. That strength is what's that guy's name? I forget his name. That guy, the billionaire. That he's like the opposite of the Koch brothers. The Koch brothers do the Republicans, and what's this guy's name? I forgot the guy's name. The guy Paul. I'm going to say Soros. I don't remember his name. Soros, right? Is it Soros? Who knows? You don't know. You're just a person. You don't have no clue. I'm a truck driver. I don't know anything. I know nothing. But I know this, that nobody expected Bill Clinton to get into office and then have sex and cheat on his wife. Nobody thought he would do it with an intern. Nobody thought he would do it with an intern in the White House. In the White House. I mean, really. So he was portraying himself as one thing, but he came out to be another thing. And we've seen this time and time again. Wasn't Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, right, messing around with Marilyn Chambers, the porn star? No, Marilyn Monroe. Beautiful Jackie Onassis sitting home, and he's messing around. He had a bad back, supposedly, a really bad back, and he's messing around. War hero, right? PT, a PT boat, PT commander, whatever. Can't we go down through every presidency, and there's always an issue? Whatever. Listen, men are very observant when it comes to beautiful women. They're very observant when it comes to non-attractive women, too. They go, oh, non-attractive, gotta go. Feet don't fail me now. Oh, hi, sweetheart, how you doing? Yeah, great. No, I gotta go. Yeah, I got a lot of work to do. I'm very dedicated to my job. Yeah, I know, that's sweet. Okay, goodbye. Unless you're beautiful, and they go, oh, what's your name? Oh, Cheryl? Well, hello. You want to come see the White House? Want to come to my Oval Office? You want to have sex in my Oval Office? Not that what's her name was beautiful, but whatever. And by the way, what an idiot. You're the president of the United States. You're you're in charge of the free world, right? The highest job in the free world, and you're going to have sex with all right, Dave, it's not nice to say these things. Yeah, you're going to have sex with a fairly unattractive young girl who's an intern in your office. And what a dope she was, too, by the way, closing the door behind her. You think that he said, do me a favor, can you just lock that? Can you lock that? I mean, what a risky move. But anyway, we eventually found out the truth. Anyway, so I am still supporting Donald J. Trump. I still don't see any reason to vote for Hillary. I still think there's a lot more to her that meets the eye, or a lot less to her that meets the eye. Tonight is debate number 2. If I do watch it, I'm going to hope she has an attack. It's a horrible thing to say, but I'd rather her have it now. And by the way, I've had these moments in my life too. I've had flat tires. My car broke down in the driveway a couple of weeks ago. This Kia broke down in the driveway a couple of weeks ago. Good thing it didn't break down on the way to work. I had a flat tire once on the way to work. Otherwise, I had another car years ago. The battery went bad on me. The battery went dead on me. But I've been very fortunate where most of the things that go wrong in my car go wrong in my driveway. It's amazing. It's amazing timing. So, actually, I had a Volkswagen Rabbit, 1981 Volkswagen Rabbit diesel. That was a big pain in the ass. I had some problems getting to and from work on that car. So anyway, Mr. Trump is showing you his true self. You're not going to get a different Trump when he's in office. I think you're going to get a more presidential Trump. I think he's going to get to business. I think that part of him that really enjoys being in charge is going to kick in. And you're not going to get these 3 a.m. tweets. Well, maybe you will, but it's not going to be about some stupidness. It's going to be about Congress fighting him. It's going to be about these idiots in the Republican Party that are sabotaging their party. Because rather than have the Republican in office that they don't want, they'd rather have the Democrat in office that they don't want. How stupid is that logic? Rather than have the Republican from your party in office that you don't want, you're going to vote for the Democrat you don't want. And you're going to hand over all that power. Isn't it always about power, not really about your beliefs? All right, anyway, 1 minute, 17 seconds left. I went on and on. I still support Donald J. Trump. It's going to take a lot more than this stupid audio tape to get me not to vote for him. It's going to take a lot more than that to get me to vote for Hillary. So it's not so much a pro-vote for Mr. Trump. It's also an anti-vote for Hillary Criminal Clinton. And we're going to learn a lot about her. Julian Assange is the guy from WikiLeaks. I couldn't remember his name a couple of episodes ago. I called him Nureyev Juju, whatever. Julian Assange. I hope he releases whatever he thinks he has. Folks, the truth will set us free. And the truth is amazing. It always is. It's the greatest scandals. It's the greatest entertainment. It's just great when it all goes to hell. It's horrible for the country, but it's just great when it all comes out in the open. Folks, goodbye. Good night. Good day. Take care. Good riddance. Godspeed and great skills. See you next week. Don't forget Pipe Dream. Pipe Dream on the comedypipe.com. Comedy Network. Email me at dumbingitdownwithdave@yahoo.com. Bye.